Time you go into the old hymnal, it is convincing that the devil let out in the hymnal change. It has to be. Because how do you leave some of the best songs out? Don't make any sense. But we have looked into those things and issues long before, and we know from whence it came. Every change, hymnal, logo, and the theology, all of it came from, it was concocted in the laboratory of hell. But it went through, and we are now reaping a type of Adventism that is, you know, in something you want to spit it out? Yeah, that's the type of Adventism today. Bible calls it lukewarm. Jesus says, I'm going to spit you out. But thank God for present truth. What would the world do without present truth? What would Adventists do without present truth? Say these didn't exist. There was no FTB, no messengers of present truth. What are some other ones you guys watch? What else? No, you have Emmanuel Safe to Serve, even though several of them need some fix up. They're slipping. Their foot slipping today. The vine tying them up. The vine, you know, when your foot catching vine and you have to take off the vine. They need to go to the true vine. A lot of them slipping. But the point still remains. What would the world do if the Adventism exists as it is, which is something you want to spit out, and there was no present truth? I would probably stay home. But I can't stay home, so let's start something anyway. Anyway, we would have to start something, because we'll start do the work on the street, and then, you know, it would work out to something. All right, so we have just about an hour to our sunset time this afternoon, as we are now transitioning from the summertime into the fall, and so the nights are longer and the days are shorter. So we are now below 6 p.m., about 3 minutes to 6 sunsets today. And as we go closer to December, it draws even down further. All right. So let us go back into the series. We had no Bible class last week, so we're going to continue here. We're dealing with standards of family living and home government. Join me as we pray. Loving Lord, eternal Father, we've come again, we've convened in this place. Your people in your church, those online. Father God, as we take another hour, few minutes to go through these points, these lessons, please let us take it serious to our salvation. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. I heard a teacher this morning spoke to two situations. With Noah and his family, the family was spared from the crisis. The crisis at the time was the flood. And it was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, their wives, so that's 8 people. That's 8 people, right? And they were all spared from the destruction. And when we look at another family, Lot, only the father. Even though the 2 daughters were not killed in the deluge of Sodom, they were lost. Their minds were gone. So only the father. So you have an opportunity to decide how you want it to go. All your family can be saved, especially in a nuclear family setting. Wife, husband, children, or child. Okay? You can experience the Noah situation. Or you can experience the Lot situation. All right? In listening this morning, which is a fact, that one of the problems in Lot's situation was the wife. It's there in Patriot and Prophet. The wife was irreligious. You know what irreligious mean? She wasn't spiritual or godly. That's Lot's wife, you know. And she loved earthly things. So you know Lot didn't go into Sodom, you know. Bible said he pitched his tent toward. But by the time the angels came, he was living in Sodom and established his life in Sodom. The wife caused that. Alright? And Ellen White did make it clear that if Lot didn't delay, she would have not been destroyed. But from the beginning, she had problems. And it's the same problem, not wanting to leave the possessions, that caused her to become a pillar of salt. Alright? So an encouragement to the men, you have to get it together, and you have to be firm. You have to be firm. That's why you're the priest, and you are the head of the home. My plan is that me and my little flock make it to the sea. Right now, it includes myself, wife, and daughter. I don't know if God's going to add one. That would be good. Just round it off to 4. I like even numbers. But we see what God do. But if not, the 3 of us. Are you there with me? On the sea of glass. So I like even numbers, Ella. So it's 4. Can't be 5. If 5, then it have to go reach 6. Is what I'm saying? All right. Let us get into this. Sister Carol, you have something before we get into the screen?
I was saying if Job wife fit in that category too.
Job wife?
Yeah.
Job called her a foolish woman because of what she had said. I believe she failed the test. We didn't get a lot much as it relates to Job's wife, for the controversy was surrounding Job. Question was asked, when his life got better, was it another wife? If we're going to go from principle, it would be the same wife unless she's dead. Because there would not have been a reason for him to divorce her. Are you there with me? But at the height of the test, Sister Carol, she failed the test. And sometimes a woman fail the test like that because their emotions, the pressure, and they break. That's why a man has to be a man. Man is a rock. Ella.
Yes. Yeah, just want to make a correction.
Want to add something to that? Mm-hmm.
Pastor. Job didn't call her a fool. He said that she speak like one of the foolish
like
women.
A foolish
so
woman.
Even in that scenario, he showed respect to her.
Yes. Thank you. Good. All right. The mic is going over there. Let's see if we can start with this text here. On the screen, Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 20. The screen's been going out today. All right. Proverbs 20 and verse 20. Let's take it from here. It says what? Whoso curseth his who? Father or his what? Mother. What's going to happen? His lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness. You know what is that? What's the obscure darkness? He's dead. What's obscure darkness? When you go in the coffin and they lock it, and then you go down in the earth and they cover it. What is that? Any light in there at all? You're going to die. That's what's happening to the young people. Whoso curseth his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in what? Obscure darkness. Matthew 18. All right, before we take Matthew 18, there's a hand there.
Yes,
yes.
The text before you move to this one, and it said that whosoever curseth his mother or his father. Remember, growing up, if there is a situation and you yourself as a son or a daughter, you know it is wrong, right? And if the parent is bringing it across you and you say, listen, we know for sure that it didn't go like that. This is how it happened, right? They look at that as a curse. It's as if you should not really open your mouth and say anything. Because
there was a ideology in the older days. They said children must be seen
and not heard.
But we are rejecting that. We're rejecting that today, and we reject it constantly because that is not a principle from Bible. And when you read Adventist Home, that principle not there. Right? It's allowed to have discussion between children and parents. What we must talk about is the nature of the discussion. What we must talk about is the respect that must be maintained. What we must talk about is children understand there's a level. Your child, we're parents. We can talk. But there must be maintained respect. And it's not only one side, you know. There's a respect that the parent must give to the child. You know that? You do know that, church?
Yes.
Because they are also an individual. And you can get that from Adventist Home. All right? We're not specifically dealing with that. Well, in some sense we are. Because we're talking today about home government. All right? Finish? The brother at the front, you still at a point? Okay. Let's take it before we go to the next scripture.
Just 2 seconds. Where did Lot find his wife?
Where Lot found his wife?
Yes.
I don't have an answer to that. I don't remember if I read that anywhere. Anybody read that? Understand this in a church. Not everything is written. Not everything is given. And what's not important is not said. Like, I'm not sure if that's important. But where are you going towards?
As you said, the Bible said he pitched his tent towards Sodom. So me just look at it and say maybe he pitched his tent towards Sodom and see her and...
No, man, he was married already, man.
He was married before that?
Married already, everything, man.
Okay.
Man married and have family before that.
Okay.
So what was happening at the time, his riches or his increase was crossing over with Abraham.
Yes,
and
I know
then
that part.
Abraham's man and his men were having issues, and so they had to separate. So Abraham said, my nephew, look before you. The land is before us. Choose. If you go east, I will go west. And if I go west, I'll go east. And it was then that Lot looked towards. I want you to understand, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah was pretty, you know. The plain, it's called the plain. And I would call that city life. Where you don't see hills in city, you know. You go to Kingston, you see no hill? Or no, the thing flat. That's what a plain is. It's flat. So Lot looked towards the city. Yes. And then the Bible said he pitched his tent toward Sodom. And in the end, he ended up in Sodom. And a lot of that had to do with his wife. She's the cause. All right? And I'm sure we can understand that. Especially men who have been married or you are married, that sometimes women like conveniences. Are you there with me? A lot of women who have come into present truth, thank God for truth, it changed them. Changed their mind, changed their character. But a lot of women like conveniences, and country living is not necessarily convenience. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So, understand that we are on the path of character development for heaven.
And the next thing with this, the Bible put the father first, but these days the mother everybody put first.
Well, I know you're really referring to Jamaica. There's a problem in Jamaica. The fathers are absent, and probably 9 out of 10 in Jamaica, the mothers are the one who carry through the responsibility, and it is sad. So because of that, the mothers get more recognition. Because if you look at it, most of us come from a single home. No father was there. So when we grow up, we're going to give the honor to the mother. Mother's Day, we don't celebrate that, but I'm using it as an example. Okay? It's a big thing. And then Father's Day passed by silently. I'm talking about Jamaica, that I know Jamaica. Isn't that true? It's something we see happen. But it has a reason. There's a reason why it happened. Because most fathers in Jamaica do not do their duty. A matter of fact, thank God for the church, because a lot of men, they come into the church And after they come into the church, some of them start to do better, pick up their responsibility and stuff like that. Understand? So there's a reason for that. But biblically, the man is the head, the father is the head, the father represents the family. They are called by his name. That's the biblical principle, and that's what we believe, that's what we work with. And so all these women here, correct me if I'm wrong, all the ladies here who are married and their wives, they know that they are supposed to submit to their husband. Am I correct? That low. It's low. They're still struggling. It's all right. The heaven gate is still open. But they're still struggling. But yeah. And the husband, let's balance it now. You know you should love your wife as Christ loved the church. Right? That even lower. Everybody has struggled. May God help us. let's go to Matthew 18. Matthew 18, let's read this. It says, whoso, Matthew 18 verse 5, and whoso shall receive one such what? Little child in who? My name receiveth me. That makes sense because in Psalms it says children are what? Heritage to the what? Lord. So the children are for a God people, a God property. So that's why it says if you receive one of the little child in my name, you receive me. Verse 6. But whoso, parents, this is for you now. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones, which believe in me, it were better for him that a what? Millstone were hung about his neck. That sounds serious. And he were drowned in the depth of the sea. You know what I mean? If millstone go on your neck, Brother Smith, and they throw you in the sea, it go sink. Nobody now find your body. It now float, you know. It go all the way down. That's what Jesus said better that happened to them. Verse 7, woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. And that's why I love the Bible, because it's balanced. It says, children, anybody who curse mother and father, death will come to you. Your lamp will go put out in an obscure darkness. But God not leave it the same. Go over to the parents and say, parents, if you no offend one of these little ones. And you know what the text mean when it say offend, right? If you do something bad, not if them rude and you punish them. Not that. Different thing that. But if you have done bad towards a child, God says, it better you go down a sea bottom. Whoa. You know when the Bible use the word W-O-E? Like when it says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, for the devil has come down unto you with great wrath. That word, woe, is a serious word, okay? So that's a warning for the parents. All right, go on again. All right, let's go from here. It says, let's read from Adventist home, page 308, paragraph 5. It says, there is danger, listen you know, of too severely criticizing small things. It says, criticism that is too severe, rules that are too rigid, lead to the disregard of all regulations. And by, children thus educated will show the same disrespect for the laws of Christ. What do you get from that? Talk to me. What do you get from that? And especially in Jamaica, let's talk about it. What do you get? Remember, it's Bible class and I'm not preaching. What do you get from that quote? There is danger of too severely criticizing small things. Criticism that is too severe, rules that are too rigid, lead to the disregard of all regulation. And by, children thus educated will show the same disrespect for the laws of Christ. Somebody has to talk to me. What do you get from that? All right.
All right. Parents represent Christ to their children.
Yes.
Because that's who they see. When the rules the criticism are too, some people major and the minor, and it's too harsh. And the rules are
so when not to break you, give me an example when you say there's danger of too severely criticizing small things. What would
So, for example,
what would be a small thing? Yeah, talk.
For example, you're teaching your daughter to cook and
Yes.
they salt the pot.
And you what?
Put too much salt in the pot.
A little. Okay. And you?
And instead of just saying to them, oh, next time this is what you do,
Yes.
you cuss her out properly or she what this and have no use.
All right. That's a good example.
All
yes.
because of just a little
She oversalt, just
She
over
over just that. The criticism that is too the rules that are too rigid. You know, some parents, all right.
Give me an example, because I want them to learn, you know, because the young people they here, you know, and they might watch the quote and say, all right, I'm going to use that one day. So give me an example of what would be a rule that's too rigid.
All right. For example, all right, there are rules in the house. So, all right, let me use my daughter as an example. All right.
Okay.
Her device, she knows that she has, I tell her that for the whole day, if you're home, you're only allowed 3 hours on your device.
Okay. Yes.
So she knows that's the rule. All right. What I could do is I could tell her these are the 3 hours and no other. So between that is that. But what you could do then, what I tell her to do is, look, you have 3 hours. You decide when you're going to use those 3 hours. It is still 3 hours, but she decides when she's going to use those 3 hours. And I said to her, the consequence that if you go over that period, that you know that you are going into tomorrow's time.
All right, yes.
So you are going to lose out on tomorrow. So that would be it. So when you make them the children see God as a tyrant. And so they disregard the laws of God because they see it as just there with no reason for it. Because when you criticize overly over the small things and they really sit down, they say, but you know, if you go on, so adjust that. So when they see it that way now, they see God as this tyrant who doesn't give them, they don't have any way to be themselves. They have, it's this way or the highway. And so that will impact how they review God and his laws.
And that's a good example, may I add. Because you can see the law that exists. 3 hours. Where did she take away severity or what they say about the rule? Rigidity. She said, okay, you choose how you want to do that 3 hours in the 24 hours. She took away, she gave what we call a little flexibility. So the child also is now going to learn some responsibility. Are you there with me? So the child understand, oh, I went on it on 8 to 9. Let me stop because I only have 2 hours left. And if she goes 4 hours, then she have 2 hours for the next day because she gone over into it. You're teaching responsibility. And as small as they are, they have to learn that. And she has taken away the rigidity. Because if she had said it has to be between 7 to 9, and probably the child has something actually important to do before 7, then the child is in a bind because I can't go on it yet because it's not 7 o'clock. She removes that and allows the flexibility. But the 3 hour doesn't change. You know when it starts breakdown? Let me tell you how it starts. Let me give you an example now. 3 hours for the day. The child do 3 hours already, you know. Mommy, just give me a next hour. And you feel a little feeling there in your heart. No. It's all right. So then get 4 hours for that day there. Start breakdown. See, by next day, him reach about 5 hours. So you, the parents, start feel. Don't break the law. 3 hours. Are you there with me? Matter of fact, some people would argue that they should not be on the device at all. So what could be a counter to that? Is the device itself bad? No. But can it be a doorway to hell? Yes. So when you allow them on the device now, you have now taken on to yourself as a parent more responsibility. Because now you have to do what? Monitoring. Now you have to do monitoring. So understand this rule, you know. We have no excuse as Adventists, you know. God give you everything. Because that's a very important principle. You guys agreeing with me? Isn't it a fact that some children have come from homes that was too rigid? And once they break away from it, it's like they break away from all rule. Them no want to deal with nothing like that. Not true? You don't know of scenarios like that, and they become rebellious adults in society. So watch me now. You can set out to do the good, but you didn't do it in the right way, and it leads to evil. You know that? Church, talk to me now, man. You understand that? So when you see something like this, it's a principle. That's why we have to use the book Adventist Home. Because these principles, you're not going to find it nowhere else. Come in, Sister Karen. If you go to a family counselor, they not tell you this, Depends on which family counselor. They might tell us, make the child be a child, man. What does that mean? What do you mean make the child be a child? I don't understand. All right, come on. All right, Sister Karen.
Two points about the rigidity of rules.
Rigidity, yes.
Growing up as a child, we were not allowed to play. Playing was seen as something, it's idleness, and children, you don't play. Find something useful to do. So, to me, I grew up, we don't even know how to have fun, because the rules were there that playing is not allowed. You find something constructive to do, and the same Adventist home was also used as a weapon. So none of the children growing up in our home wanted to hear anything about Adventist home, because it was always used to beat and to bash mother and children. There was nothing in Adventist home about the rights and responsibilities of the father as the head of the home. That was our experience growing up. So it became something to be abhorred. The book Adventist home, just because of how it was used in the family.
Well, just listening to you, I realized that the father had many issues. Yeah, just listening to that scenario. So he needed some counseling, because he used one part of it as a beating stick. But there's another part that spoke to him, which obviously he did not read. All right? Nothing is wrong to play. Are you there with me? Children must play. And let me add something. Adults must play. No, parents must play with children. Those moments must exist in the family. Are you there with me? But it all must be in a balanced, harmonious atmosphere. All right, church? All right, let's go forward. Let's read here. It says, uniform firmness, unimpassioned control, necessary. It says, children have sensitive, loving nature. Children have sensitive, loving nature. Yeah, when they're young, they're more sensitive. You have to be careful. They are easily pleased and easily made what? Unhappy. It says, by gentle discipline, in loving words and acts, mothers may bind their children to their hearts. So, in the earliest stage, who is supposed to do that curving and that discipline? The mother. All right? It says now, to manifest severity and to be exacting with children are great mistakes. They are what? Great mistake. What it means to be exacting, that word. When it says exacting, we can give another explanation so everybody understand. Huh? Well, yeah, rigid. You want to use another synonym? Huh? Extreme. No room for error. Yeah, all of these can fit in of exacting. Authoritarian dictator kind of thing. Exacting. To do that is a what? Great mistake. Great mistake. And let's talk. Let's talk. When we see these things, be honest. Though you can see that some of the earlier parents made some mistakes.
Yes.
Talk to me. But you know what I believe? They still did better than the parents them today. Because the parents them today gone to the next extreme. There's no law, no principle, no government at home. And the society just get wild. Right? But in Jamaica, and I would call it a little going over the line to abuse, but there was a time when anything parents catch, you know. Sister Carol, you would probably have come up in them earlier days, Sister Carol. Anything parents catch. I go walk around, and the Jamaican parents were gifted. Well, my grandmother used left hand, so when she throw the stone, it go around the corner. You understand? Because to the right hand, you know, but when the left hand, you know the slingers, you know, in Bible days. Yes, you remember like David? With this, you know, slingers were left-handed, most of them. Yes. And it go like that, man, and it go the curve, man. 45-degree angle. It a reach around the corner. So when you go around and things, so you get to, you feel something. I don't reach around there with you. But these things are not the way. Are you there with me? Now we are being educated to through the truth to do the thing the right way. I saw a hand down there. All right, let me take the gentleman and then Sister Patterson. Mike?
Oh yes, sometimes it's because of how the first parent was grown. Boy, I never have nothing for you, so you know where I go on? Me I give me pitney everything. Me never have a phone, me I give her the dearest one. Why me did have to wear short pants go to school? You buy him 10 khaki and you teach him to wash. You understand what I'm saying? Just because of what? Me born poor and me live poor. For me picnic now go live poor. But we know we don't use the Bible. We don't use nothing to guide us how to grow them. We just do because we never have it. And that is wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong. Children must be grown from principle, not from your experience. You know, come and say, well, this is my experience, so I'm going to give them that experience. And what the gentleman is talking about is true. Are you there with me? So you go from one extreme to the next. And you know what normally happens in that case, right? The child is spoiled, and who suffers the most? The parent. But they suffer the suffering later on in life, when it's too late. You know, I always told myself when I was a little younger, say, if I ever become rich, my children now going to know that. You know, I'm going to live normal, and they will have to go through all the little things. They'll have to learn to wash and cook, all the little things. Right? Of course, they won't suffer unnecessarily like some suffering that I might would have gone through, which isn't really much. My mother suffered and made sure that we got as much as we could. And the education, especially the education. God bless her for that. But I had said in my mind, and I realized from early, I never go through any seminar, but just in the mind, I say, you can't write, that don't make no sense. So because you never have, you go just excessively just throw it on the child, that can't be good. That going to be bad. So I had decided that I would never do something like that. Right? And some of you can reflect and know that probably you did a little of that. And realize that it don't work out, it's bad. Alright? So we must teach them from the principle of the Bible and the spirit of prophecy, not from your experience. Your experience might not necessarily be a good guide. Sister Patterson.
No, the part about being exacting with children.
Yes.
Sometimes we fail to realize that children are not little adults. They are children. And so when they do, like for example, they make the beds. You know, like Daniel love make her bed and she run come call me, mommy, mommy, I made my bed. But when you look on the bed,
you don't really make.
It make up, you know, but part it down and part. So instead of fixing it and tell her no so it go, me tell her good job. But next time, you know, you do this and then next time you go, so they will not be example. The washing the dishes, the whole of the counter wet up. But you're washing the dishes.
Yes.
And so they're not going to do it exactly the way. And honestly, I had to learn because I tend to be a perfectionist. And this is something I had to learn. That when they do it, don't do it over. They feel good and you're not to be exacting. Let them do it the way they can until they learn it. But sometimes we want them to be little adults and they are not. They are children.
Children. I'm learning. That's true. All right. Let's go forward here. Adventist Home, page 309, paragraph 1. It says, uniform firmness and unimpassioned control are necessary to the discipline of every family. Say what you mean, or you must say it calmly. How many of us feel it is several times? Say what you mean, but how you must say it calmly. Move with what? Consideration, and carry out what you say without what? Deviation. That's what I was talking about a while ago. If you say 3 hours, how much it must be? 3 hours. If you say the thing cut off 9 o'clock, when it must cut off? 9 o'clock. Is the principle there? Don't deviate. You are sowing a seed that you cannot manage to reap when it comes. Alright? But we must do it. May the Lord help us all. We must do it. You must say what you mean how? Calmly. Move with consideration and carry out what you say without deviation. And many parents struggle with that last part. And I will say especially mothers. Emotions, you have to control that. When you say the thing, it you must do. But remember, she's saying, move with consideration. So, if you're going to make a rule, you must consider it very properly first. You following me? So that when your mouth move and you say it, you can abide by it, and it is fair, and it is right. Alright? So, do not deviate. Hand down there. Somebody the mic? No? Okay. Next part says, paragraph 2, it will pay to manifest affection in your association with your children. What's affection? It will pay to manifest that in your association with your children. What is that? Lovingness, sensitivity. Alright, so it will pay to manifest affection in your association with your children. Do not repel them by lack of sympathy in their childish sports, joys, and griefs. And you know it go. You know it go. Sometimes they come. And you have to have time. Even if you don't have the energy to engage. You have to listen and pay attention. You have to give them the time. You have to, see what it says? Do not repel them by lack of sympathy. In their what? Childish sports, joys, and griefs. Are you there with me? And it says here, never let a frown. We're all on the curve. Learning, fail, take out back yourself, go towards the standard. Never let a frown gather upon your brow or a harsh word escape your lips. Help us, Lord. It says, God writes all these words, mercy. Mercy. God writes all these words in his book of what? Is there any in the book for you? If any is in the book, you know, you can clear it right now. So just clear it in your mind. Parents, any harsh words or so, it gone at the book of record. So if it's there, just clear it. Just clear it. Just clear it. These things are serious, you know. Because if in the book of record and it not clear, what will happen? When will it come up? Come up, not the judgment. So check that book and make sure it's clear. Let's read this. It says, restraint and caution not enough. It says now, dear brethren, everybody listen to the letter. Dear brethren, as a church, you have sadly neglected your duty toward the children and the youth. Obviously, she's addressing a congregation, but we can take it too. While rules and restrictions are laid upon them, great care should be taken to show them the Christ-like side of your character and not the satanic side. Ellen White. Not the satanic side. Says, children need constant what? They need constant what? Watch, care, and tender love. Bind them to your hearts and keep the love as well as the fear of God before them. It's a balance. You must keep the what? Love as well as the fear of God before them. Before them. You know, I realized growing up a child, is an art. I would like to call it a divine art. That means we don't have it in us, but we can acquire it. We can acquire it. We can learn it. I believe it's a divine art. Because the children are the heritage of the Lord. And when you think about a child and pregnancy and birth, it's a miracle. It is a miracle. It comes straight from the hand of God. Therefore, to rear such, you need God constantly to guide you as you guide them. Is that clear, church? It's a divine art. It's what I would call it. Let's read further as we get closer. It says now, fathers and mothers do not control their own spirit, and therefore are not fit to govern others. What's the first principle before you can begin to govern a child, which falls in governing others? It's the first thing you need to overcome. Control your spirit. You think that is very important? Alright, you know what it means when you say control the spirit? It's several things, Imagine you coming off the road, you're coming from work, and it's been a rough day. You are now required to have that level of control. You're coming in the house, and the children are there to greet, and they are excited, they're ready to, but your thing, you have to get the control and take that little part of you there, and corner it over one side, and carry back the part that will never exist today, and deal with the child in that manner. Are you there with me? Because remember, they're sensitive, they're easy to shut down. Are you there with me? And they're the heritage of the Lord. It's not our own, so we're soul tied to the training. So it says, fathers and mothers do not control their own spirit, and therefore are not fit to govern others. It says, to restrain and caution your children is not all that is required. So that is important, but that is not all. You have yet to learn to do justly and love mercy, as well as to walk humbly with God. Alright, so do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. I believe children are a real test to how far you reach in your Christian relationship with the Lord. Mr. Carol?
I was wondering, in this teacher, at what age you stop spanking your child?
At what age you stop?
Yes. Well, the Bible said, the rod, and you take the rod to them, but is there a limit?
Remember, the rod is not just necessarily a rod like a rod in your hand for beat, but the rod represents correction. Guide, right? So some people them quote that text to just mean as you quint you get licked, right? That's not what it's supposed to be. What if I tell you, Sister Carol, that if we understand the principle properly, and we start at the right age and at the right time, and we stick to the thing as God said, do you believe what I would tell you now, that you can grow up a child and they can come up in the way of the Lord, and you probably never had to spank? But that's possible, That's possible.
That's possible. It's so really difficult, the way they are so rude and not listening.
Right.
I'll give you a scenario.
Yes.
My brother have a son, his wife, and the boy would have never listened to the mother. And as the father look at him just squeal up. I tell almost put them in trouble. The mother must hit him and him go to school, and they see a little scrape. They're ready to take away the child from the parent. They have to beg the council, and just a little scrape on the boy, and and America that happened. So I said, why wasn't the child listening to the mother, but as him look on me brother, look on the boy quail up.
Well, I would want to tell you that a part of that can be laid to the father. It is the responsibility of the father in that situation. He should be very well aware what's happening and to have a discussion while the mother is right there with the child. And if the child fears him, as you're saying, the child should understand from that discussion right away that when mommy talk, it's as if I'm talking to you. Understand? There needs to be that discussion. You see what? There's a word that was used. I'm looking for the word. It's uniformity. I think it was. See what it says up there? Uniform. What's that? Uniform firmness. You know what that means? Uniform. The mother and the father, I say one. The mother and the father, I say one. And let me tell you where that is very important. Very, very important. Where you have, say you have a husband and a wife, or a mother and a father, husband and wife, and they both have a child, like my situation at the moment, where do you understand what I'm saying? One parent is not the biological. Let me tell you how critical it is. That uniformity is very important. Because the child must never, in the little brain, think that because one parent is not the biological, that I can get away, let me tell you something, they'll play around with the thing. You think them easy? They are born in sin, and they're what? Shaped in iniquity. They are a loaded gun. They'll study the parents and say, all right, if I want this, I'm going to go that way. You have to make it clear in every little way, both parents, that it is uniform. What I say is where, and what him says, where I saw it go. From early, you're teaching the mind that, look, I saw it goes. This is the order of things. Because you're trying to grow them up in the fear of the Lord, and that they also understand, based on how you teach them, how to relate to the Bible. Are you there with me? Another hand.
Yes, Pastor. That scenario could also be the mother's fault why the child is like that. Because
possible.
If in a case where when discipline is required, she said, wait until your father come, or I'm going to tell your father. Then the child will learn to not have respect for her authority. Yes. And so do not respect anything that she says. And then the father seem to have full control. But then the father also has to correct that scenario.
Yes, so it requires both. So that's true. That could be another side of the coin. All right, let's look at the next quote here. 309, paragraph 4. It says, counsel to a mother of a strong-willed child. So let's pause before we go forward. Is every child the same? All right. And let's take, for example, Brother Jackson, who has different children. He would probably fully agree that every child is not the same. Same mother, same father, same genetics, but all of them are different. You know, you have some children, you just talk. Isn't that true? And they just listen one time. Then you have some other one. You wonder what go on in the genetics, because you have to talk and be on them. And it's the same thing with Jesus, you know. You know that some disciples create more problem for Christ? Yeah, they have three, they you know, come like the three stooge them rude, you know. James, John, and what the next one? Peter. And what did Jesus do? What you do when you have rude children? You keep them near. And them one day you know give no length. Where you dead, them off it there. Are you there with me? So every little time at the Bible, when you look, some of my disciples, but when you look, you see Peter, James, John. Jesus know him I do. No, I go on. So I go up on a mountain and say, try to come with me. Because him could have left them down there, no problem. So him come with me, come up there. So you have to give more time. So let's listen to this counsel. Strong-willed. You know what's a strong-willed child? Them want to do, you say, them want to go right. She says, your child is not your own. You cannot do with her as you like. Understand that? The children are for God. It's not your own. You can't do with them as you like. For she is the property of the Lord. That's biblical. Exercise a steady, persevering control over her. That word steady is important. That's speaking to consistency. And it says, teach her that she belongs to God. With such a training, one of the things with the old time parents, them never know talking, you know. But as small as they are, you can engage them, you know. Frontal lobe at work and talk to them. Yeah. You see in China, let me tell you something. You know what they have the little children doing? Some little something so. 3, 4, them have them a bake, a nail and a sawboard. So by the time them reach all teenage year, them are expert, you know. When they are younger, the brain is quicker. Quicker, so you can engage them. Old time parents, them not depend on that. I mean, when I talk, you know hear me say? You know hear me say? What you ball for? Eh? Where you get something for cry? And you know a thing already. I wonder and I heard the lady, I wonder, you mean if me get something for cry? The lick hot. And the lower you cry, the hotter the lick. So it says, she says, teach her that she belongs to God. With such a training, she will grow up to be a blessing to those around her. So she was giving a counsel to her mother as it relates to her daughter. But clear, listen, sharp discernment will be necessary in order that you may repress her inclination to rule you both. To have her own will and way and to do as she pleases. Strong-willed child. Don't let the children, let me say something to you, parents. Anyhow, you make it reach a stage where them start controlling, you know, dog, nyam your supper, I just make you know. Anyhow, you make it reach a stage where your children are on the show, dog, nyam your supper. That may I tell you. So don't make it reach right there, so. All right. So, how much slides we have to go as we're closing up? So it says, even steady management. Let's read this one. Even steady management. It says, I have seen many families, the prophetess says, shipwrecked through over-management on the part of their head. Whereas, through consultation and agreement, all might have moved off harmoniously and well. She says she saw many families shipwrecked. What she mean when she say, where is it? Over-management. What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you understand? That's what causes shipwreck. I've seen many families shipwreck through over-management on the part of their head. What that means? That's over-management. How do you over-manage a child? Causing the shipwreck in the family. Yes, you want to say? Oh. Huh? Over-management. What's that? Whereas through consultation and agreement, all might have moved off harmonious. So you understand what the red word is saying, right? Consultation and agreement. It's talking within the family, you know. My brother. The mic. Mike.
You don't give them any time to do anything or even to breathe.
Or even to what?
To breathe, meaning you just depend on them constantly.
Okay, over management. And even this part where it says, whereas through what? What's consultation? I talk to you, you talk to me, we agree, we come to an agreement. Whereas through consultation and agreement, all might have moved off harmoniously and well. Sister Patterson.
Another word for over-management would be micromanagement.
Micro.
Everything has to be managed by you. You don't give the child, all right, simple thing. You give him his meal to eat, and you're going to tell him what to eat first and what to eat next. You're going to tell him which color underwear to take out and to wear, which whatever. You don't give the child
or which fruit to like,
or which
what not
fruit to like, and you better eat that one. You don't give the child you're gonna plan a trip to go somewhere as a family. You want to manage every single thing. You don't, instead of discussing with them what they would like to do, what they want to wear, how they would like to go about, and then you come with a consensus. You vote on it and majority carries in it. You just tell them it's your way or the highway.
Yes, yes. Over management. Do you think this exists in some family? Have you had experience like that? Shouldn't be the case. All right, so let's go on. We are 3 slides away from closing. All right, let's read here. It says, unsteadiness in family government is productive of great harm. In fact, is nearly as bad as what? No government at all. The question is often asked, why are the children of religious parents so often headstrong, defiant, and rebellious? Why? Why? The reason is to be found in the what? Home training. Too often the parents are not what? What's the problem? The parents are not what? United in their what? Family government. This is the single most thing that destroys a family. Mother can't say red and father say blue. Mother can't say left and father say right. Them have to be united. And I use those as example. I'm not literally referring to colors. I'm saying when it comes to certain principle, the children must see. It must tight lock. They must know say when mommy say and what daddy are going to say and what daddy say as it relates to principle. Yeah. What has been the problem in these homes? It is because the father and the mother not united. So I give you a little thing if you are not married yet and if that day will come. You must sit down, the two of you, male, female, and have a conversation how the family thing go. You must put your things on the table with the Bible and spirit of prophecy and see how the thing must come together. But don't go start have a child and then when you look, you are say a X and no, that can't work. Or I've always said to you, do not let the children see you what? What have I always said? Do not let the children see the parents what? Arguing or disagreeing. Take that behind the door quietly and work it out. This is going to help you in the future. Alright? So what you say is the problem? The reason is to be found in the home training. Too often the parents are not united in their family government. It says down there, page 310, paragraph 3, a fitful government. A fitful government. At one time, holding the lines firmly, and at another, allowing that which has been condemned is ruination to a child. Do you understand that? That is so clear a while ago. Do you understand it? Before, this thing was wrong. Can't do it. But later on, you same one allow it. That can't work. Let's read it again. At one time, holding the lines firmly, and at another, allowing that which has been condemned is ruination to a child. Ruination to a child. I believe you must stick to the thing. If none of that, none of that. That's when you go back and forth. You do it now, you go back, you set the line, the rule, and then you break it. You mash up the child. It's better you never have no government at all. That's what the prophet said. It's ruination. You're ruining the child. You have to stick to the principle. We're closing up. You have to stick to the principle. All right. It says here, mutual law for parents and children. We're closing up. It says, God is our lawgiver and king, and parents are to place themselves under his rule. This rule forbids all oppression from parents and all disobedience from children. That's why I like the Bible and the spirit of prophecy, because it's balance. It forbids all what? Oppression from who? Parents. God, the parents will oppress the children. But it also forbids all disobedience from who? Children, because the children must listen. It says now, the Lord is full of what? loving kindness. He's full of what? Mercy and what? Truth. His law is holy, just, and good, and must be obeyed by what? Parents and children. The rules which should regulate the lives of parents and children flow from a heart of infinite love. And God's rich blessings will rest upon those parents who administer his law in their homes, and upon the children who obey his law. Last piece, it says here, the combined influence of what? That picture is so nice. Sends a warm feeling to the heart. It says the combined influence of mercy and justice is to be felt. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Households under this discipline will walk in the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment. It needs to be a combination of mercy and truth, and righteousness and peace. And from that home, they will walk, as it says, harmoniously in the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment. All right, that is what we will take for this evening as the sun has set, and we will close coming from Adventist home, looking at home government. All right, I hope you take these principles at heart, and if we follow on, we will reap the blessings. All right, let us close. Loving Lord, eternal Father, we thank you for your word and for your truth, which is liberating. May we incorporate these principles in our lives. May we strive amongst our struggles and failures to reflect you totally in everything we do, and may our homes be a reflection of heaven. Be with your people as we depart. We thank you for another week completed, another blessed Sabbath. As we go to our separate abode, keep us and carry us safely, O Lord. Let the devil have no victory over your people till we meet again. In Jesus' mighty and precious name, amen and amen.